Next on Good Morning El Paso weekend, a first for the campaign season as a presidential hopeful visits the land of enchantment and the borderland. But it won't be the only time. What's being planned now as national politics comes close to home. And the latest info from the Egypt-bound flight found crashed in the Mediterranean, what authorities suspect this morning. And storm track weather, Iris.
Well, those temperatures are already warming up. Will we have some winds in our forecast? I'll let you know what you can expect throughout the day coming up.
This is all the news you need to start your Saturday, May 21st. ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso weekend starts right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso weekend.
Now, no one can predict the future, but I think on June 7th, when 6 states are up, we are going to win a lot more states and a lot more delegates. And with your help and a large turnout here in New Mexico, we're going to win this state.
Not giving up. That's the message Bernie Sanders is sending through his campaign. Although the Democratic hopeful is far behind in delegates, he's still fighting for all the votes he can get. And he's hoping his visit to New Mexico will lead him on that path to victory. Well, good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Andrew J. Polk. We'll have more on the elections and Bernie Sanders in New Mexico coming up. But first, we start with some breaking news this morning. Police are investigating a shooting in East El Paso. Happened on the 3000 block of Lake Spear and Pebble Hills. Ended up there, at least. Details at this time are limited, but police tell us one man was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds. Initial information indicates the victim was shot and then was able to drive to a home on Lake Spear. Residents there called police and EMS. We're still working to find out more information, so stay with us on air and online as we update the latest. But getting back to our top story, Bernie Sanders is in New Mexico. Yesterday afternoon, he was in Santa Fe, and last night he was in Albuquerque. Today he's in our neck of the woods in Vado, New Mexico. This is a video of his rally in Albuquerque. Sanders acknowledges his needs commanding victories in the final rounds of primaries on June 7th. But the senator said that he thinks that sets his campaign apart from the Democratic frontrunner.
But any objective observer will tell you that the energy, the excitement is in our campaign, not Secretary Clinton's campaign. And that will translate into a high voter turnout in November.
Sanders' rally begins at 10 a.m. today. Now, Vado is off I-10 at exit 155, about 10 miles north of the Texas state line. The Secret Service says 4,000 people are expected to fill up a playground behind Vado Elementary School. But people who work at the school say they were told to prepare for as many as 10,000. Secret Service is coordinating with Doña Ana County Sheriffs, Las Cruces Police, New Mexico State Police, and El Paso Police to make sure the event is safe. Residents we spoke with say they're not worried about thousands of people descending on their little town.
What's going to happen?
I don't know, I think it's awesome that someone's coming here to Vado, and I don't know, it might help the community.
I thought it was great to have a politician of that caliber here locally.
I know, and Vado of all places, right?
Of all places.
Everyone who goes to the rally will have to go through a metal detector. Officials are urging people not to bring bags, and if you bring water, it has to be in a clear bottle. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is on track to clinch the nomination through the combination of pledged delegates and superdelegates after contests on June 7th. She hasn't scheduled any personal appearances in New Mexico, but her husband, former President Bill Clinton, is expected to hold rallies in Espanola and Albuquerque next week. Here's the breakdown of the delegate count come June 7th for the Democratic primaries. Voters in 6 states will head to the polls. New Mexico has 43 delegates up for grabs. The major prize, California, with 546. The next is New Jersey with 142 delegates. Montana has 27, South Dakota 25, and North Dakota, that holds a caucus, has 23 delegates. And Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump plans to visit the land of enchantment next week. He'll hold a rally next Tuesday night at the Albuquerque Convention Center. This will be Trump's first campaign appearance in New Mexico. Yesterday, he was in Louisville, Kentucky at the National Rifle Association convention. During his speech, Trump had some advice for Sanders.
You talk about a rigged system. He wins every week and he keeps losing. I think Bernie should run as an independent, okay? Let him run. I do. I would love him to run as an independent. Then it would be the three of us on stage. I love that.
And Trump appears to be a fan of Sanders, but is New Mexico Governor Susana Martinez a fan of Trump? We spoke with her during her visit to Booker T Elementary School in Las Cruces yesterday. The event was to encourage students to read. The governor still hasn't decided whether she will endorse the presumptive Republican nominee, but she is open to listening to his plans for New Mexico. Even though she's on the fence about Trump, she says one thing is certain.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I can tell you is I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton. What does he intend to do for New Mexicans? We have 4 national labs. We have 4 military bases. We're a border state, and I really would like to hear the ideas that he has.
So getting to our Storm Track weather now, let's get your first forecast with Storm Tracker Iris Lopez. It's been hot lately, Iris.
That is right. It has been very warm, sunny though. And you know what? We have so many events going on today, so I'll let you know what you can expect throughout the afternoon. But let's talk about your morning, those 70s. Look at that. We are already in those 70s. That is letting you know that it is going to start getting warm very quickly. Our winds right now are calm south-southeast at 3 miles per hour, as well as over in Las Cruces. You have 71 right now. Sunny skies over there. Let's talk about city, a closer look at those temperatures across the city. Montwood High School already at 80 degrees. That is on the east side of town. Valley View Middle School at 74. Then Fabens Elementary School, you were still in those 60s, 69, upper 60s. Hey, not too bad. Today is a sports park grand reopening. If you're going to be heading out there, take some bottled water. If they allow umbrellas just to block the sun, that is if they allow them, and your hat, that can help block the sun as well from your face. 76 by 10 o'clock, sunny skies. Then 2 o'clock, it's going to be at 87 with breezy conditions. Now, here are the very important weather questions that I, of course, am going to answer. Like, can you pull out the pool today? Will you get a break from the winds? And if you want someone to take you out to the ball game, well, I'm going to let you know what the forecast is going to look like coming up. Andrew?
Thanks, Iris. Check back in just a bit. In the meantime, though, the trial will continue next week for the former Fort Bliss soldier accused of killing 2 construction workers while driving drunk. 20-year-old Jan Michael Nieves faces up to 40 years in prison if convicted on both counts of intoxicated manslaughter. The crash happened in 2014 on I-10 near Schuster. The freeway was closed for construction. Yesterday, the testimony from the defense's first witness, El Paso police officer Victor Mijares. He said he was working traffic control that night. He testified that he was assigned to the I-10 East at Executive Center Boulevard duty, the spot where Nieves allegedly drove through, and his job was to make sure no one got on the freeway. Mijares told jurors his dashcam and GPS were not working the night of the crash and hadn't been for the entire year. Mijares said he never saw anyone go on the on-ramp for I-10 during his entire graveyard shift. Prosecutors declined to question Mijares, which leaves the question unanswered: how did Nieves get onto I-10? The trial continues Monday. And minutes before Egypt Air Flight 804 crashed in the Mediterranean, the plane registered smoke alerts. That's according to new flight data. 66 people died in the crash, and Egypt authorities suspect terrorism, but no group has claimed responsibility. This as crews search for the flight's black boxes, which could contain answers to this aviation mystery. Mayor Maloney has more.
Clues from the final minutes of flight. The Egypt Air jet sent a series of automatic electronic messages detecting smoke in a bathroom behind the cockpit and just below the cockpit. It also indicated failures on the windows of the plane.
Something was close to the cockpit. It was up near the cockpit. It could have been either something mechanical that had failed, a short circuit, or it could have been an incendiary device of some kind as well.
The working theory is that a bomb crashed the plane, and now investigators wonder if someone planted a device on the jet at the Paris airport.
If it happened at Charles de Gaulle, where they have had some very terrible recent terrorist attacks and they were on heightened alert, it certainly can happen anywhere.
Crews in the Mediterranean Sea found seats, personal belongings, including a suitcase, and human remains. A satellite also spotted what looks like an oil slick near where the Egypt Air jet disappeared.
We need to find these fragments, analyze them, find the black boxes. We want the truth, the whole truth.
Among the presumed dead, a Canadian mother of 3 living in Cairo, a director of a Procter & Gamble facility based in France, the pilot, and the co-pilot, who plan to get married soon. Relatives remember them fondly.
I would say he was the only one that was really drawing smiles on our faces, so what happened is really very much unfortunate.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Back around the borderland, residents on the Lower Valley have been spared another week before the beginning of a major construction project. The closure of the Carolina Bridge is now scheduled to start after the Memorial Day holiday. It was supposed to begin this past week on Monday. Once crews began the demolition, drivers will have to use the Rosedale Railroad Crossing or Yarborough as a detour. The bridge will take about a year to complete. There will be no access to the bridge during the whole process. The bridge was built in 1958 and is in need of repairs. The new structure will still have 1 lane in each direction, but a straight median and sidewalks will be added. Again, the demolition has been rescheduled now for the week of May 31st. And the county sports park is having its grand reopening today, Saturday. Exhibition games, entertainment, concessions, food trucks, and more are planned for the celebration of the finally completed facility. County commissioners have been long anticipating the project being done, so all the entry fees into the park are being waived. With the $10 million project fully ready for use, the county is now hoping to show it off. The reopening will be this morning from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And put on your walking shoes, apply that sunblock, and get your friends and loved ones together for the Hospitals of Providence first annual Strides Against Stroke. It's a 1K walk and 5K run that welcomes survivors, caregivers, or anyone willing to help those who have suffered a stroke. The event starts today at 8:30 at Escalante Park. Both the run and walk start at 9 a.m. And of course, don't forget to pick up your copy of the El Paso Ink. This week, only in El Paso Ink, a lawsuit claims a New Mexico businessman reneges on a $20 million deal with an El Paso real estate trust, what it means for the trust's investments and local investors, and why the city and Mountain Star Sports are a year late coming up with a plan to keep the ballpark in top shape. Also, the newest members of City Council talk about ethics, Uber, urban sprawl, and what he'd like to change. El Paso Ink is online at PasoInc.com and available for home and business delivery. Call the number there at the bottom of your screen, 534-4422, to subscribe. A Mexican drug lord's presence has been looming over the borderland for weeks. And coming up on Good Morning El Paso weekend, it could now be one step closer to crossing the border to face charges in the U.S. And later, police arrest suspects for allegedly targeting runners with a BB gun. But some are still concerned this morning. Time now just before 8:13, taking a live look at traffic this morning. I-10 and Trans Mountain over on the west side. Looking like a little bit of heavier traffic. Some of that could be the stuff headed up towards Vado for the Bernie Sanders rally. Security is already open. The rally itself starting at 10 a.m. So in your Storm Track weather, Iris.
Plenty of events going on today. I'll let you know what you can expect. Are we going to have 90s in our forecast plus winds? I've got all those answers coming up.
You're watching ABC 7, where news comes first.